Hello, and welcome to Take 10 by N4. In this video series, we're exploring timely and relevant strategies to come out of this unprecedented uncertainty smarter and stronger. I'm Dirk Beveridge, founder of Unleash WD, and today I have with me Eric Ryerson, Senior Vice President of Software Development at N4. Eric, hello, and thanks for joining me, man.
Hey, Dirk. Thanks for having me on. It's great to see you again, even if it's virtually.
No doubt about it. I got to tell you, I am so glad we're together because today we're discussing the business imperative of a cloud-first strategy. Eric, I have heard horror stories of businesses that were caught off guard with the dramatic and immediate shift to remote working, changing customer requirements, and other shifts, other disruptions as COVID unleashed itself on all our businesses. I heard other stories of businesses that didn't miss a beat and seized new opportunities. And a primary difference in these stories is those that have or have not embraced the cloud. And that's just COVID ramifications. My understanding is that the business case of moving to the cloud is getting stronger. Cloud data center, I heard this recently. Cloud data centers are going to process 94% of workloads in 2021. 94%. The average savings from cloud migration is about 15% of all IT spending. And for small and mid-sized businesses, that jumps to 36% savings. And Eric, all that leads me to my premise for today. And my premise is that a cloud-first strategy is the equalizer against industry giants. I'd love your thoughts to begin with that premise, Eric.
No, Dirk, I would completely agree with the premise. And, there's a number of dimensions that takes as we break it all down. But good premise, let's get rolling. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's do. So it can be that equalizer. And Eric, I believe the disruption that COVID has brought to our businesses has affected businesses differently. Can you share any insight into how this disruption has impacted businesses that have embraced the cloud versus those that have not?
Yeah, absolutely. And you teed it up earlier, but obviously those that were already embracing and running in a cloud environment didn't have to worry about the very quick change in the workplace and workplace participation, right? Remote working and that type of thing. They already had access. We handle all the infrastructure. So it was really not that big of a deal. Now, customers that are still running on premise, for example, and using local client or secured connections, they had challenges. They had to move very quickly. I heard some stories about some large companies that were very proud of the fact that within a week's time, they were finally able to get a majority of their employees working again. Well, good for them, but that's not really, that's not what good looks like, right? So to your point on that. And then there's some other areas around here that, COVID basically amplified business risk, right? Or business interruption risk this year. And obviously it's huge and in neon signs, but these things happen all along the time anyway, right? I mean, we have hacking and ransomware. You have resource disruption. You have failures in your ecosystem or infrastructure. All these types of things, to me, fall under the business risk umbrella. But a cloud approach gives you a much more defensive way to take that and make sure that doesn't interrupt you. Make sense?
Yeah, it does. And it sounds like, those risks were there prior to COVID, but what we've experienced, right, is that COVID's really accelerated and enhanced some of those risks and the like. So now let's go a step further, if you don't mind, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And, one of the things I believe is that cloud does provide a platform to not only be defensive, but to take the offensive, to look for the opportunities and to seize the opportunities during times of uncertainty and change. I'd love your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt about it, right? So any organization, to the degree that they're maintaining an ecosystem and a business system, transaction system, reporting, analytics, et cetera, they have to spend a certain amount of capital and mind share, and frankly, intellectual energy in keeping that going and keeping it secure. And the hard part, keeping it current and taking advantage of new capabilities, features, and innovation. So that dilutes their ability to really be innovative unless they come over the top and spend even more, right? Which comes at a cost. So, but cloud companies that have transitioned to the cloud, they have a much more agile way to look at things and to develop. They're not worried about the care and the feeding and the security risks and that nightmare of staying current. In the cloud, you're always current, and new features are coming out every month. And there's tool sets that you don't have access to in the cloud. Things like artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data analytics, all those things are just part of that cloud platform. So it really allows companies to say, okay, what do we want to do? What's our strategy? Do we want to grow organically? Do we want to go through acquisition? Do we want to focus on customer experience and customer outcome type of things? Because, almost related to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, food and shelter are taken care of, right, with a cloud platform. And oh, by the way, here's some really good tools. Now, what can you do, right? Your success and growth are limited more by your imagination rather than constrained by system capabilities, right, or system constraints, if that makes sense.
No, I love that. And I don't want to lose that the cloud limits your ability for growth and seizing new opportunities simply based on your imagination versus your IT platform. I think that's brilliant. Great takeaway. So let's build on that if you don't mind. And,
sure.
Talking about organizations with imagination, right? The news is full of massive organizations that one might say are filled with imagination. Companies like Amazon, Uber, and Netflix, and others. But again, I believe, and I'd love your input here, can the cloud, this ability to imagine, really help small to mid-sized businesses seriously compete and, okay, let's say win against these larger types of organizations and maybe non-traditional type competitors in their space?
Sure. Yeah, no, that's a good question and it's a little bit complicated, but let me unpack that a little bit from my perspective, right?
Please.
So I sort of see it in two areas. First is the companies that embrace a cloud platform that's always current. They have these tools available to them, certainly, but how they leverage those and what they do with it is the key. And it creates a scenario where if you compare them to just say their regular peers, not the industry giants, there's almost the situation of the haves and the have-nots, okay? The haves are on a platform like this that is competitive at the industry giant level, but the have-nots are still running on-premise or legacy systems without all these tools, and they're focused on those other things. And that divide is getting wider and wider. It's one of the reasons so many customers are embracing the cloud migration, because even if they don't like the idea of the cloud or don't feel like they're ready for it, they look around and they see their peers jumping on that platform. They're already a step behind. Now, with respect to your question about the industry giants, I mean, some of the companies you named are phenomenal in terms of their innovation, right? And their investment, right, is beyond question. A news article recently said that some of these social media companies have near perfect market analytics, and you'll think of yourself as a small to medium business, you're thinking, how in the world can I compete with that? What we're trying to do at Infor is really increase the capability of the platform and using these platforms that the industry giants use and providing that to the small to medium business sector or even large business sector at scale and making it simple and easy to apply. So there's no reason that a $500 million distributor shouldn't have world-class analytics available to them or shouldn't be able to apply machine learning models to the data that's coming in. And you can go downscale from there. It doesn't really matter anymore if we use that platform as the equalizer. So, creating disruption in the industry is easier now because those distributors that are using the platform to do that in the cloud, they can provide intimacy to their customers and to their customer base that those industry giants can't, as an example. I don't know, I hope that makes sense, but that's where we're seeing it.
It does. And the words that resonate with me in addition to it all is increasing capabilities, right? And what I'm taking from this, one of the things is that the cloud is going to allow, no matter what size of business you are, right, to be able to increase your capabilities for what the market and what your customer is going to demand tomorrow rather than what got you to the dance today. Right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So Eric, this has been absolutely fantastic. Thanks so very much. And I know that we are all focused on growth, as you talked about. We're always looking for that edge against the traditional and non-traditional competitors. And you've provided us great insight as to how and why a cloud-first strategy can be the difference maker in our ability to emerge smarter and stronger. So thank you again for being with us. And thank you for joining us on Take 10 by Infor.